You have just tuned in to the Mag Nerd Podcast, your home for everything in music, anime, and gaming.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Mag Nerd Podcast episode special. And why is this episode special? Well, you can look at the person to my right.
Woohoo! Hey guys!
So again, if you guys have been listening to my podcast or watching me on YouTube, I've talked about my wife in little spurts, and with this new segment, which I am brilliantly calling "Girl, I Know You Want This Tea." It's going to be a little segment that I do with my wife where we talk about the gossip that's going on, the drama. Because again, we talk about it ourselves at home, and it's always hilarious just the way we go back and forth because we have two very, very different personalities overall. But
Yes, we do.
But we managed to make it work. I mean, we've been together 15 years.
16. 16 years.
Yeah, we've been married almost 10 years, so we're 9 years married, and next year will be 10 years. So, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right, hey y'all, I'm the wife, and I'm excited to finally join this podcast. I mean, I've only been waiting for how long now?
Never.
Finally got an invite, so I'm excited to talk about some of the gossip and the tea that we've been talking about offline and finally share our different perspectives on it.
This tea may or may not have some Don Q in it, so just do forewarning.
It's necessary. I'm up way past my bedtime, folks. So.
Of 8:30 people, so I'm just going.
So this tea is necessary, and this spiked tea is necessary.
Well, we gonna need some tea.
Okay.
Boy. I know y'all about to enjoy this story that we talking about today because we picked a perfect time to start this podcast. We got two stories that we want to talk about. First one being about the whole Wendy Williams with her husband, and it's just announced this week that the baby mama may or may not have given birth, which is just a whole hell of a lot of mess.
It's a hot mess, y'all. Just a hot mess.
I'm gonna drink to that, boy. That's some tea right there.
Whole thing.
Alright. So also the major story, and again, if you guys have watched the podcast or listened to the podcast, me and Ghost, we talked about this as well at length. Jussie Smollett from Empire, his whole drama. And again, I'll go over it very, very briefly. But officially, he is no longer on the hook for this crime. And boy, oh boy, we got some shit to say about that.
Yes, we do. Mm-hmm.
So, without further ado, let's jump into this podcast segment. Mm-hmm. And again, before we get started, make sure you guys follow the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Magnerd Podcast 2. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnerd Podcast. You can also, if you're looking at this on the YouTube channel, Showing Up the King, I have a lot of great videos up there. And of course, you can always find on Google Play, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, everywhere you can find the podcast, Magnerd Podcast. And honey, would you like to plug yourself as well?
I don't know, but he's on all the socials. I have a little YouTube channel that's
she has
really,
more subscribers than me. So
that's really around the mommy verse. So if you are a mommy or interested in motherhood and caring for little crumb snatchers, then you can certainly check out my YouTube channel at Practically Posh Life. But that's the only thing I'm on, y'all. So I'm not on any other socials. So for anything else, listen to what he said.
Okay, so
anyway.
So let's get into this. All right. So let's talk about Wendy Williams. So why don't you give the people a quick overview of the Wendy Williams story so far?
Alright, so this story has kind of been hanging around and it's gotten bigger over the last couple of months, but it really started probably last year when I think the Daily Mail first broke the news that Wendys Husband had a mistress, Serena Hudson or something like that, Serena Hudson, and that he's had this long-time mistress.
By the way, she's not cute.
it depends on the picture, right? So I feel like that one sad picture of her in that gray muumuu or whatever she wearing, that's not a good look. No. But there's some other ones. It's like a new little beach photo of her where she look kind of cute. I think that, tabloids just, they pick the worst picture and post it everywhere because there's like 5 different versions. Yeah. They pick the same one with her walking down the street in New York City with a gray sweater on or whatever that looks a hot mess.
She got like a little janky little ponytail.
Right. There's other pictures. But anyway, so that came out last year, and it's not that nobody was like, oh, that can't be true. I think everyone was kind of like, yeah, I can see that. It's probably true, but Wendy ain't gonna tell nothing.
And let me stop you there for a second. Let's talk about Wendy Williams real quick. So Wendy Williams is the reason why I feel like this is the hotter of messes because she is a big hypocrite. Like for years, she used to put everybody's business out in the street. She would call out everybody. She had beef with Howard Stern a couple of weeks ago, trying to say he was too Hollywood. She had the emotional breakdown where she passed out on stage, like not on stage, but on
her show.
On her show like twice, and she was just, some just crazy shit like that. So she's just been a hot mess for a while. And for her to sit there and try to put everybody's business out there, but when it comes to her dirt, she want to stay quiet. She want to put the lock on her lips and throw away the key. That ain't gonna fly. Not in Black Twitter, not in Black Instagram, not anywhere on the internet. So now with her husband just basically being cause apparently from what I've heard from people like Shot of God from New York, their radio show, he was actually close to Wendy Williams and her husband back in the day, and of course he kind of hinted at things like physical abuse, mental abuse, stuff of that nature. So it's just a hot mess. Now what's going on as far as we know is that he has been cheating on Wendy forever. Like he has not been doing right by
for at least 10 years.
Forever, ever. Like it's almost like it's an Olympic sport. He would get the gold medal every year for just cheating. So, and again, he's that dirty dog that will cheat and will cheat in your face. Like he be inviting his chick over for Thanksgiving dinner.
Now apparently when they go on vacation, she goes on vacation and just stays at a different hotel. But she's on vacation at the same spots that when he and Wendy are in Florida, she's at like a hotel down the street. So she's just like his carry-on bag that goes everywhere with him. So it's really interesting relationship, and I can't imagine that this was news to Wendy. I think she's always known about her. I think from what I'm hearing is they had an understanding that don't embarrass me and don't knock her up, but she knew about her. I still don't think she probably liked the idea, but as long as nobody knew about it and as long as the chick ain't had no kids, she was like, I'll live with it. I think once it leaked and really got out there, that's when it really became an issue, because I can't imagine this went on for 10 years and she didn't know and she didn't put some ultimatums out there. She probably always knew, but it didn't really matter because the public didn't know. But now that the public knows, it's a problem. And I heard last year he was starting to offload some of his properties that he had for her to try to let Wendy know, hey, I'm done with her. But he's not done with her.
He bought a house down the road from where they currently live for him and the chick. Come on, man.
The whole thing's a hot mess.
Wendy Williams can sit there with binoculars from her balcony and be seeing them kiss on the other side of the street. I'm like, come on, man. That's some craziness.
So here's what I'm thinking, though. I feel like at this point, it's like a showdown and they're trying to like play chicken. It's like a bad game of chicken between two women. Because otherwise, I don't understand how I can rationalize how Wendy, who's got something to say about everybody, and anytime it's a woman who's being cheated on, who's being done wrong, Wendy the first one talking about, you need to leave, he a dog, you don't deserve this is pathetic. So she's always anti, like, stay with a trifling dude. So I'm trying to understand how somebody who's always preaching that you need to go would stay with him. And the only thing I could come up with is she's invested all these years and this image, and she's built this lifestyle around this husband and kid and whatever. And she's like, I'm not walking away and letting this side chick have him.
Look, at least Stedman knows better than cheat on Oprah. Like, we all know that Stedman and Oprah ain't never getting married. Stedman know his place. Stedman stay in the pool house. And Stedman mind his business, and he know I ain't gonna be having no side chicks, and Oprah nobody gonna find out. So Stedman knows his place. This dude, when you get to the point where you can just openly cheat and not even
problematic.
care,
And then, I read somewhere somebody said back in the day the side chicks and kids didn't show up till the funeral.
Right.
So used to be they knew their role. They stayed out of the picture. The only time you met them was at the funeral.
Yeah.
So all of this walking around and going on vacation is real.
You got the side chick coming to the quinceañera. You know, she's sitting there going to potlucks and
it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. I mean, do you feel bad for her? Because, I mean, I feel a little bad for her.
Look, here's the deal. If Wendy Williams was this person that was just this beyond reproach and just like a regular, real-time, down-tone person, I would feel completely bad for her. I'd be like, again, let me be clear. I don't feel bad for her, but I also don't give the husband a pass either, because he's a dirtbag.
I know, he's a
but
dirtbag.
Because he's a dirtbag, that doesn't mean I'm gonna let Wendy off scot-free with
listen,
because she dragged so many people through the dirt, and because she's talked so much shit. Again, you know how I feel about hypocrites.
Right, karma comes back around.
We have the hypocrite in chief in office, so again, it's just.
I get it. But I mean, to some extent, does anybody deserve that though? Just because you talk shit about other people's problems doesn't mean that you deserve whatever befalls you. It's not like she makes stuff up about people and then she's malicious. She just reports the tea. And people don't like the way she reports it, but she reports it. So I'm not sure that her reporting other people's gossip warrants her deserving this situation. I do think, though, the part that I was a little disappointed in is I'm like, okay, it all came to a head at the end of the year. She had to, like, take a hiatus. Apparently was in rehab for drugs and alcohol. I mean, no, I do think she was in rehab because she's at a sober living house now, but I think she had to take
had to get pushed out because the tabloids were about to leak her shit.
No, I think that's the only reason she came out with the sober living information. Yeah, but I don't think that's why she took a hiatus. I think she took a hiatus because she was having trouble with drugs and alcohol, hence all the slurring on her show, all the other issues. I think it came to a head and she needed to take a break, get herself together, because it was starting to be she was starting to be messy. And you can't be on TV. Yeah, well, who knows? But I don't know. I'm tired of seeing his ass. But anyway, I think that was an opportunity for her to use that time to figure out a plan to restart. And to push the restart button and to come back better than ever and address the issue head on.
Weren't you telling me something about her secret master plan that you were theorizing?
I did have a master plan. So, but before we get to the sober living house situation, which I still don't think I quite understand the way a sober living house operates. But anyway, here's the thing. I was like, just come back and keep it real. Because that's the one thing, whether people like what your message is or not, you usually tend to keep it real. And so if you're known for keep it real with yourself too in your own situation. I think that's why fans are upset, because it's like, fine, everybody's entitled to have their personal life fall apart and things go to shit. That's life. But then don't come back to your show and be like, I know what y'all are hearing. I know the streets have been saying stuff. It ain't true. As long as I got this ring on my finger, don't ask me about my marriage. I'm like, ugh.
Because I get you. I guarantee you, if there was a guest that came on your show and tried to pull that same shit, you will not be with it. You know damn.
You know all that talking you doing about Chloe and her hot ass mess boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever the hell he is, and you the first one, if she'd have said stay out of my relationship, you'd have been like, sorry honey, you are for public consumption. I am not saying out your business. You're the same. You're no different.
Didn't she just do some real foul shit when she was basically like somebody had died or somebody got hurt or something, and she was like going all up in on their business and didn't care? It was some sort of story.
It wouldn't surprise me if she did. But so I think that was the disappointing part. I think everybody waited for that return episode to be her just coming full circle and saying, here's the deal. I had an issue with this. I had an issue with that. My husband's a piece of shit. We're in the middle of a personal situation that it's rough. You don't even got to tell us all your business. Just say it's rough. And we're going through some problems and we're managing it. I don't want to get into too much detail, but I hear you. I understand y'all are concerned. We're working through it, or I'm working through it, and we'll see what comes out of it. At least it's not pretending like nothing's wrong and that your relationship's fine. Like, that's the part that's disappointing. And then to follow up a couple weeks later with this whole sober living house situation, which clearly only came out because you were about to be outed by the Daily Mail, and so you decided to tell your audience while trending your drug treatment hotline number across the screen that it was just disingenuous. It was not authentic. It felt very weird and rehearsed, and it felt like that is only like 10% of the story. it felt like so much information was missing. I was like, Wendy, come on. Like, great that you're telling us this, but I think you're only telling us this because you basically have an invisible gun to your head right now. And you're telling us the only baseline information.
It's equivalent to your friends catching you doing some bad shit, and they're like, "I'm about to go tell your mama." So instead of you having somebody else tell your mama, you go run. You run and go
tell them, and then you only tell them like the bare minimum, the nicest, cleanest, sanitized version of the story.
Right, which you basically are at no fault. Right.
Yeah. So I was not buying it.
So let's go to your theory on how this...
So my original theory was, okay, maybe this whole sober living house situation is her trying to stage a separation divorce down the road by proving she's getting treatment and she's no longer living in the home, because depending on the state you live in, if you try to get a divorce or separated, you have to prove that you were living apart for a period of time or that you were, separated for a period of time. So my theory was she's no dummy. She got a long-term plan here, but it's got to work incrementally, because I don't know if they have a prenup. I don't know what the funds are looking like, but she's trying to not drag this out and get a clean getaway.
Does he look like the kind of guy that has a prenup with Wendy Williams? No,
they've been together too long. I don't think they got a prenup, and I think that let the story be told the way he be choking her up and throwing her downstairs. I don't think
like that's. When I say big, I don't mean like fat. I mean she's a big woman.
She's healthy.
She should be able to get some short. Give him some.
I just think that that's her ride or die, and she's like,
look. Tina Turner thought that Ike Turner was her ride or die until he threw some cake in her face and made her eat that shit. But
you're a hot mess. You're hot. But listen, we don't know what goes on in the Hunter home. Did I say Serena Hunter? I bet you that's not her last name, because that's Wendy's. That would be a hot mess. Anyway.
That would be a hot mess. We will keep you posted.
Yes, this is a sad situation. But it looks like Miss Serena gave birth to a little girl over the last week or so, and it was a girl. And that was the other thing. I said to you just the other week, well, the tabloids been talking about she pregnant for like a year now. If they know baby, she ain't really pregnant.
Why haven't Wendy and her husband ever had kids?
They have a son.
They have something?
Yeah, Kevin Jr.
How old is he?
Though I heard his name is Kevin Sr.'s real name is Kelvin, but whatever. Yeah, he's 18 or 19. He's in college right now. Poor boy is probably going through it. If I were him, I'd change his name and not tell anybody who my parents are, because right now it's not a good time to be the parent, the son of Wendy Williams. But so I do feel bad for kids of celebrities that go through this terrible situation.
College, does that mean that
I think he's in his freshman year or something.
Did he earn his way into college, or did they?
I can't speak on that. I don't know whether it's legitimate or not, whether he took his SATs or ACTs or whatever the situation was, or whether they did a donation. Which is not the same, by the way. What? So we're gonna wrap this segment up, but I do have another issue that I'll get into, the whole Dr. Dre situation.
We can talk about that real quick. I was gonna mention that too. So
I feel like that's different. And see what happens here, and this is where I'm
Well, Ben, was it because somebody else we were on Ellen, and they were okay. I'm sorry. So. Bottom line, I'm sorry,
bottom line, Wendy, we're going to keep you posted. It's a sad situation. She needs to get the hell out. And
run, bitch, run!
And I think at this point, so much has happened that her audience will be on her side if she chooses to leave at this point and just comes clean. It's not like she should be worried about dropping her show or anything like that. If anything, all the women that watch her are going to be like, yes, finally you kicked that dirtbag to the curb.
She's an Oprah level class.
Like, I think that she's in a good spot right now with all that has gone down to legitimately walk away and come out on top. Financially, I don't know. It depends on how good a lawyer she got. But I think in the eye of public and public opinion, she'll come out favorable if she just walks the hell away at this point. Because there's nothing to salvage there. And his broke ass is sticking around because he know him and Serena ain't got three nickels to run together.
I think if they ain't got a prenup, he knows he's entitled to 50%. So that's
well, then I'm like, take your 50 and move the hell on, because at some point, peace of mind is priceless.
We don't want to give him 50. That's probably
so you'd rather pop pills, be drunk, and have I mean, come on, at some point... Take the 50% and move
clothes or something. I don't know.
If you have a anyway, she need to get the hell out of Dodge. It's not worth the money. You need peace of mind. And at this point, the longer you stay with him, you're doing more damage to your reputation, because people are just disappointed in her at this point. They're like, yeah, you trifling.
Being disappointed in her anyway, but
I mean, yeah, but at this point, they're like, you're a hypocrite. You're disappointing, and at this point, you look like you have some sort of Stockholm syndrome. Get the hell out.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I don't know.
All right, so Second story. Now that we just decided to bring this up, the whole college scandal. Now, let me give you my thoughts on this real quick. When I first heard about this story with Lori Loughlin and the other chick, which was probably like some reality star chick, I don't know who the hell she is.
Felicity Huffman.
Felicity Huffman, whatever her name is. When I first heard about this story, I was kind of like, okay.
They've been doing this since the beginning of
time. So, like, to me, when I heard this story, I'm like, and water's wet, and the sky's blue. Like,
true.
Like, do you really think that Trump got through to his Ivy League school on his own, or did he, or his rich daddy's money pay for his way through, or somebody?
George Bush Jr. or whatever.
Right. Like,
he didn't get into Yale on merit. He wasn't the brightest star in the sky.
If you dig deep enough, you will find out that probably I would venture to guess probably about 75% of politicians and celebrities probably paid their way through school with their influence and money. It's just the way that shit has been going through.
But it's always been that way. The biggest donors, you're not donating out of the good of your heart. I mean, sometimes you are, but in general, especially if you have school-age kids, your donations are going to influence whether your child gets into the school or not. This is a little bit different.
Well, let me just say this is where it's a little bit different. When you have a child who has never rowed a day in her or her life, get a rowing scholarship to Yale to be on a rowing team, you're doing the most. You're going.
Or you have your poor child go in, take the SATs or ACT, and then have a proctor on your payroll go and take another version and submit that instead of the one your child took unbeknownst to them. That's really shitty because they're thinking, damn, I did good. No, you didn't, son.
And then behind the scenes,
you didn't take that. What that tells your child is I literally had no faith in your brain power whatsoever. Like, I had no hope that you were smart enough to do all of this on your own.
I think most parents know when they got a dumb baby.
Well, for some of them, I think they just didn't want to risk it for some of the competitive schools. They were like, doing well isn't enough. You need to do like genius level to get into some of these schools. So they probably were like, yeah, you'll probably do okay on your own, but I need you to get like stellar off the chart. And I'm like, now the Lori Loughlin thing, I think the girls just were not ever cut out for college. I think they had no interest in it. I think they had no interest in it and they didn't really want it. And I think the parents wanted to live vicariously through their daughters and really push them in that direction to be able to stay at all the dinner parties.
Person that they're looking for still that's paid like $6 million.
I think they know who it is. They're just anonymous. But I was like,
no, I heard that they have not. I heard that they have.
And I'm like, for $6 million, sweetheart, buy one of them online degrees from Pakistan and put Harvard on it. I mean, you can't come up with something else.
$6 million?
You think it's Trump? I heard you. I was trifling. Leave that man alone.
Look,
he might have got it legit. No, he didn't get it. Let's be honest. He didn't get it. Come on, he didn't get it legit. But either way. So, now what they're trying to do. Now, here's the thing. Maybe Dr. Dre brought this on himself by trying to brag. The problem is I don't know when he bragged. Did he brag recently or did they find an old post?
I think what he's doing is he was talking about it recently because of the scandal. Because I think people looked up the fact that he donated to USC.
So apparently though he posted like, hey, proud dad, my daughter got in legitimately or something. And I'm like, see that? Therein lies the problem. If people just searched through your page and found out every celebrity whose kid went to USC and tried to bring them into this, that's a different story. But if you recently posted that knowing that Twitter, the social media, they have no chill. They're all secret little PIs. They will find out all your business. If you know you made a significant and substantial donation to the school your child went into.
As long as I knew that my child got there legitimately.
But did they though? What's legitimate? How are we defining that? So no, I agree that this is not. You can't lump his situation in with Lori Loughlin or Felicity.
Right.
To me, that's totally different. People donating money for years.
Influence decision making. So yes, do I think that Dr. Dre's daughter got into USC on her own smarts? Most likely, but I can guarantee you that money that Dr. Dre donated helped.
I agree. I think she met the base level requirements to get in. And I think if all things are equal between her and another student, that donation gave her an edge. But I don't think that donation would have overridden her academic performance and her testing. I think she still had to meet the academic threshold, but so did thousands of other kids. So when you're trying to figure out a differentiator between all those smart kids, the one whose daddy donated a lot of money kind of creeps out as, okay, her. So I think that it helped give her an edge, but I don't think it was the only thing that got her in.
Why people are acting all surprised like this is never...
And well, why people are acting like, well, he did it too. And I'm like, no, he did not pay somebody to cheat on an exam for his child.
Right.
Nor did he say that she was part of an athletic program that she never was part of. He didn't lie on the application. He made a legitimate, tax-deductible, donation.
How you gonna put your 19-year-old daughter on the fucking Yale football team and talk about she ain't never take a snap, kick a field goal, take a tackle?
Nothing. And the whole thing is just a hot mess.
But, I mean...
So I don't view those as the same, and I feel like they're reaching. I feel like they're like, see, black people do it too. See, all celebrities do it. I'm like, don't put Dr. Dre in that. I'm like, he did what most people do, which is if you got money, you're like, can I write a check to your facility? Like, that's... Like it or not, that's life. Like, rich people been doing that forever.
It's no
every situation.
Look, it's no different than when you go to the club and you slip the bouncer $100 bill so you and your friends can go to VIP. You ain't
correct. You don't think in the real world in companies that happens too? You don't think that so and so's nephew's cousin nepotism happens all the time, and people who are big donors and big clients?
Trust me, we both work in a corporate
all
world,
the time. So to me, that's par for the course. I think what those people did. Right. We're not making a value judgment on the morality of it. That's not for us to judge. But what we're saying is that is normal. What's not normal is what these other people did to pay to basically falsify records and to have their children get in based on misinformation. That's a whole different ballgame, and I don't view people who donated money and their kid ended up getting in as the same as people who basically lied. Like flat out lied about information and did not get on their own academic merit at all.
Somebody's daddy was on Ellen the other day, and I thought it was hilarious because he made a joke about it too. I want to say Ben Stiller or no, not Ben Stiller. It was the guy from Meet the Fockers.
Isn't that Ben Stiller?
Yes, I'm sorry.
It is Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I knew my shit. Yeah, it's Ben Stiller. So his daughter had been, going around and looking at colleges because she's of college age, and I think she also wants to be an actress. So he's kind of put her in some of the movies that he's done, and he kind of was on Ellen, and they kind of made a joke about it as well, where he was kind of like, we've been going out and looking at the colleges, and my daughter is. I forgot exactly how he said it, but he said something along the lines of she had like a full scholarship to be on like the Yale chess club or some shit like that that didn't exist, and said that he just wrote the check, and then he was making fun of the whole situation, but then he kind of went into like the whole seriousness of it. But again, like I said, white people have been doing this from the since the dawn of time, so this don't.
Yeah, I think that this is just, and I think that they stumbled upon this by accident, but something tells me they've probably been doing this for years. I feel like this little scam they've been running just kind of, the jig is up, but it's probably been going on for years. But I definitely think that now they're trying to shift the focus and be like, well, Dr. Dre, I'm like, come on, y'all. If we're starting to look at people who made donations, that's every other rich person you know.
Don't y'all got jobs? Like, why y'all sitting there like going through like 15 years of people's timeline and Twitter and shit?
And if they're gonna do all that, get paid for it. Become a PI. Find them cheating spouses.
Get clout on the
something because y'all. I'm telling you, they'll find out all your business.
I'm like, look, if you a celebrity, you should just pay somebody to delete all your shit. Like, only keep your Twitter and
well, that's why we say all the time, like, we're not politicians. We will, for various reasons, we would never be politicians. But no.
All you got to do is
drop
a stone in my path, and I'll be like,
right? Nope. Nope. Right, we are morally compromised. We're not cut out for that life. All right.
So that's the bonus story that we decided to throw in. And now I want to talk about this Jussie Smollett shit. So what's going on
with Jussie Smollett? He's still on Empire?
Yeah, you seen the last episode? It's crazy.
I mean, I thought he's doing good. He's still singing. Something going on with him?
Yeah.
Jussie.
I gotta.
Lying Jussie. Y'all say what you want that boy a damn lie.
Can I do an introduction?
Go ahead. Set the stage for anyone who's been living under a rock and has no idea what's going on with Jussie.
Alright, so for the small few who don't know who Jussie Smollett is.
I mean, my mama's 73 and she know who he is, and she got all the tea. So I don't know who don't know what's going on,
got the herbal tea and Anithin.
I mean, she listen. She put us on.
She did. All right, we ain't gonna talk about that though.
All right, go ahead.
So, Jussie Smollett, one of the Lyon brothers from the hit show Empire, which is not as much of a hit anymore.
One of the Lyon brothers, like that boy ain't got no other claim to fame. He's from the Smollett family of like 6 kids or whatever.
He the gay Tupac.
One of the Lyon kids.
He like the gay Tupac. Come on.
All right, go ahead.
So, about a month or two ago, there was this huge story. You know, Jussie Smollett was a victim of a hate crime. You know, he was beaten by these 2 MAGA hat wearing guys who screamed out "Make America Great Again," tied a noose around his neck. The shit was crazy. It was just bananas. So, of course, almost immediately, everybody, even myself, came to his defense, and I was like,
Not everybody. Not everybody.
So I had a healthy dose of skepticism, but at the same time, I was not about to give the black man an L like that. But after you hear the story, it's almost kind of like when you watch a movie for the first time, and you're like, yeah, that movie's good. But then you watch it again, and you can be like, that movie didn't make as much sense as I thought it was the first time around. And if you watch it a couple more times, you can usually poke a bunch of holes into the damn movie. And that's kind of what this whole story is just like this a really bad episode
from the first
of Empire. Like this story is so crazy that this should have been the season finale of Empire for whatever. I can't even tell you the season.
It was too much, and that's what I said. I'm like, how you gonna lay on a hate crime, homophobia? It's too many things at once, all in Chicago at 2 a.m.
But see, people will focus on, but this is how, let me say this. So, again, apparently he was attacked. The whole thing went down, kept the noose around his neck. The police didn't believe him. They started an investigation. Come to find out, it was these 2 big buff African dudes from Nigeria.
They're from they're fine, whatever. Yes, 2 big buff African dudes.
They look like they was like the new creation of the Nigerian scams. Like they came out. I think one was name was Ola and Lala.
You know what? I don't know their names.
So come to find out, police didn't believe him. Big investigation. Black Twitter ate his ass alive. He was losing jobs. They cut him out of Empire. Everybody counted my boy out and said he was done. Now, if you've watched my previous episode of the Mag Nerd podcast, I said this, and I will repeat it here for you people right here today, and for her. I said it to her in casual conversation, I was like, this is what's going to happen. I was like, in the court, Jussie is not going to do any time at all. I said, if you have a good enough lawyer, you can get you out of almost anything. I said, what the police have is circumstantial at best. I'm like, you have text messages, you have checks that say that you did this, and you can dispute that clearly because on the check, because I thought he was dumb. I thought the boy was like, you put all this shit out here, you had on video cameras talking about Subway open 24 hours, and we know Subway open 24 hours.
Well, I guess
come to find out, Subway is open 24 hours. No. He did the interview, and the interview blew up in his face, worse than the R. Kelly one did. Chicago been taking L's between R. Kelly and Jussie Smollett. Chicago been taking L's left and right, and then you got the Chicago PD, where nobody trusts those motherfuckers because they is just as corrupt as the day is long. It's just been a high.
It is, but I don't know. Did anybody believe this story when it first came out? Nobody. Like, I think
people
everybody
believe this story as much as they believe that OJ didn't do it.
But see, here's the thing. Did you believe it because you thought it was true, or you believed it because you didn't want a black man to take an L?
I didn't want the black man to take an L.
See?
If we talking about OJ, if we talking about, like, I'm thinking about...
I also never thought... I always was like, OJ did it. But here's the thing. I barely have my black card. It's like on the edge. So I gotta be careful how I side with things. So in my head, I'm like, OJ did it.
Black card,
but I barely got my black card, so I'm not gonna run around telling people OJ did it. That they try to hear all that. Same thing with Jussie Smollett. I was like, that fool lying. But you can't. People already like, poor Jussie, you see how they got him? And I'm like, did they though? Did they? because it seems like a lot. And I said, so 2 people walking down the street of Chicago with a bottle of bleach, a noose, and MAGA hats. And that shit didn't look odd to nobody. And he walking around at 2 in the morning with nobody else around him, happens upon 2 people coming at him with bleach, a noose, and MAGA hats. And it just all goes down, and there's not a witness in sight in Chicago at 2 in the morning. The setting wasn't right. The city wasn't right for that. I'm like, where's 2 MAGA people coming from?
I think it was like negative 20 degrees that day.
It was too damn cold for all of that. And they're like, aren't you Jussie from Empire? I'm like, they happen upon him in the middle of the street, and these white people know who he is at 2 in the morning in the dark? Like, the whole thing just never quite added up. It sounded fantastical. The problem was we couldn't wrap our head around the motive.
Hold on. He put too much sauce on it. I'm gonna keep it 100. What he should have done was just say he got his ass whooped, but then he went out and just.
And he should have actually got his ass whooped. That little cut on his head wasn't nothing, Jason. I mean, you got beat up and you ain't got a black eye.
It was funny. It was funny. Some chick on Instagram was like, you should have took a rock or a snowball and like tossed that shit up in the air and just walked under that shit. Like
he needs to watch A Thin Line Between Love and Hate when that chick hit herself in the eye with the sock with the orange in it. I mean, you could learn some things because I saw his little hospital picture. I'm like, you just look greasy with a scratch. Like you don't look like somebody put some Vaseline on your face.
He's just like, all right.
Right, and I'm like, and 2 dudes got you, and all you got is one
and them
scratch.
Some buff dudes. If you had them 2 buff dudes,
come on now, you'd have had a broken jaw. Like, I mean, come on.
All right, so anyway,
shit, they never make no sense.
Look, so all that shit went down. Black Twitter had his ass. Everybody thought he was down for the count. Again, what I said 2 things are gonna happen. I said he's gonna get off. Because I don't think that the Chicago PD had enough information to fully commit and get him done.
Right.
But I also said that his career is also done because I don't think anybody will ever trust him again.
No.
And one out of the 2 things has happened because it was just announced today. Jussie Smollett was found innocent. Well, I shouldn't say innocent.
No. Charges were dropped
and his record was expunged. He decided to donate the $10,000 bail to the city or wherever that money goes. And he came out and was like, I've always told the truth. I've always been consistent with my story. So at first glance, I was like, oh, well, then somebody owe this boy an apology because...
I never said that.
Look, but then what happened was the police chief and the mayor came out and they dragged Jussie's ass through the mud. I mean, they pretty much came out and was like, I don't know what the district attorney was doing. Fuck him. Like, he was like, Jussie did it. He's like, we got the grand jury to indict or give us permission to try to charge him by only showing him a slither of the evidence. Like he was saying, if Jussie wanted to get the truth out to the people, why is all this information being sealed? Why can this never be talked about again? Like this dude went on a rant for like 15 minutes straight. Basically, and again, I've never seen that much dissent between the police station, the mayor's office, and the district attorney over one particular case. So at that point in time, I was like, okay, so what I was originally thinking was, that maybe there was kind of like a let bygones be bygones moment. It was like Jussie, because again, this is what I will say that the Chicago PD fucked up at. They were leaking information to the press. Like you were purposefully trying to taint this man's name in the public eye. Like if I was his lawyer, I would have went to them and been like, you guys have tainted any sort of jury pool that we could ever.
Well, I mean, though, is leaking information tainting the case?
Yes, because again, if you're doing a thorough investigation, you're not supposed to be leaking. Like literally, it was almost like
it's in poor taste.
We got this,
but it doesn't taint the. It is what it is. I mean, it's in poor taste because you're showing your hand, but I don't know that it's actually tainting the case. Like to me, tainting the case is obstructing justice, is bringing people into a crime scene, telling the information as the case proceeds. It might be stupid and it might show your hand a little bit too much and weaken your case down the road if you're trying to keep some cards to yourself. But I don't know that it taints anything. I just think that it was all circumstantial. I think you can prove that the damage didn't happen, but what you can't prove is that he did it on purpose.
All this stuff I'm saying is all circumstantial evidence. I don't think, and again, apparently they claim that they had hard evidence that he could do it, but again, we'll never figure it out. But again, my whole thing is
he's been tried in the court of public opinion.
The whole court of public opinion, this cancel culture that we live in right now, is what bothers me about this whole story. I feel like right now everybody's being tried in Twitter and on Instagram, and we're not letting all the facts get out, and just people are basically just making assumptions. So now, even though he's been found not guilty or he's not being charged, ain't nobody gonna trust it. Everybody gonna still think he did it. Everybody gonna still think he did it. Like, in most people's eyes.
So do you still think he did it?
Yeah, the nigga did it. But,
alright, so that's my point. I'm like, so do I. So I'm like, people are not wrong for voicing their opinion. And to me, the court of public opinion shows him that whatever you were trying to do, don't assume people are that stupid. It was transparent. People saw through the BS.
If you're listening, listen to me, Jussie.
Give people more credit for having two brain cells to rub together. That shit was never gonna work.
Listen to me, Jussie. Listen. Look at me. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Let me tell you something. Don't put no more sauce on this shit. Don't talk about it. Don't go on a book tour. Don't go on Ellen. Like, just let it die.
And I don't think Robin Roberts is going to talk to you anymore. So don't go on Good Morning America because that did not serve you well.
Like, dude, you won. Just let it go. Because I promise you.
Yeah.
People from CNN, CNBC, Fox,
all they gonna do is exploit your ass. Don't do it. Do not take the bait and get yourself exploited because nobody who wants to interview you right now is doing so out of the kindness of their heart. They want to exploit you and be the first one to get you on TV doing a real good acting job. So don't do it. Your best bet I don't really see you salvaging your career in this in the near future. But I think maybe they got a spot open with L'Oreal
or BET After Dark.
TV1. No, lay low. Say nothing. Lay low. Don't do any interviews. But you know his ass can't hide from.
Well, he did a good job when he came out of the courtroom and he was exonerated, or at least he said he was exonerated. He kind of did good. He let his lawyer talk.
No, but he can't lay low for long. He's too prideful. He said his little thing and then he just disappeared. And then I was just like, smart. I'm like, but again, he is a celebrity, so he's a fame whore. I said it. He is not going to be able to keep his damn head down and his mouth shut. He's going to go around trying to vindicate himself. And to me, the harder he tried during this whole thing, the worse it made him look. That whole interview with Robert Roberts was a terrible idea. I'm like, honey.
What do you think was worse? R. Kelly's interview with Good Morning America or Robin Roberts?
Oh, R. Kelly for sure. R. Kelly, I'm like, first of all, for both situations, I was
killing me with this.
I'm like, somebody, where is Olivia Pope? Y'all needed Olivia Pope in your corner because whoever is advising these folks is misleading them. They are feeding right into the hands of the media who basically just exploit you.
I thought Robert needed to do the interview. I felt like he had to. Let me finish real quick. I know we sidetracked, but this is what we do. But look, I thought R. Kelly needed to do the interview for one simple reason. Everybody else was painting the narrative except him. He never, like, when you say nothing, basically you just give everybody ammunition to just throw it against you.
But if you're an illiterate pedophile, you should probably say nothing. Like, I feel like your best bet is to continue to say nothing. And his publicist had to know this is what you're working with.
His publicist said it, even though his publicist said he thinks it helped him more than it hurt him. Yes, and we're still more. I agree, because again, at the end of the day,
did you walk away feeling bad for him?
It's not about feeling bad.
Did you walk away thinking he was not a pedophile?
Honey.
So if neither of those things happened, how did it help him?
I can't say shit until you let me talk.
I'm trying to understand.
Look, all I'm saying is this.
Okay.
And I think we differ on this whole R. Kelly situation greatly, just like we differ on.
I don't want to talk about because
we're not going to go into
bring in Cosby. We're not going there. We're not doing that today. Not today.
All right, we're not going to tackle Cosby. What I'm saying is that America has this innocent veil that they have over their head that pisses me off. America's always like, we don't date younger women and we don't do this. And I'm like, behind closed doors, everybody doing all this freaky shit. Like, to this day, I'm saying, if we take out the pissing case and the whole shit that happened with Aaliyah, because that shit was in the past. We've already determined what.
But how can you take that out?
Because again, he's already been acquitted on that. So
he wasn't acquitted on the Aaliyah stuff. That never came out.
He can't be charged because the chick is dead.
Okay, that's not the point though. But in the court of public opinion, why should I forget that? We're not talking about the court of public opinion.
I'm talking about in the court of law.
All right.
You got these two women who are saying that they are willingly being with R. Kelly, and then you got them telling you that my parents basically sold me to this man, which I believe because
I believe that too.
I believe them parents, because I'm like, number one, at the age that them kids are, they should not, like, our daughters will never know who R. Kelly is, period. Like, again, I ain't gonna listen to his music. I will listen to his music, but again, I'm not gonna sit here. And somebody said this the other day, and I loved it. They was like, other than Sparkle, who's R. Kelly ever put on? He partially put Sparkle on. So if she only had when a woman set up, that bitch ain't had nothing after that.
No, but I think people change.
So if I'm a parent and I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, I want my daughter to blow. I'm gonna do this. And again, you know R. Kelly's past. I'm not gonna give my underage daughter over to R. Kelly to monitor, to mentor her. That's like sitting there saying that you got a 5-year-old son, and I'm just going to take him to the Catholic priest so that they can.
You know what? Hot mess. Dead wrong. I was going to say an aspiring rapper dropping him off with Memphis Bleak, who's not put anyone on and can't put himself on and saying, hey, here you go. Let's drop us off. There's a side story to that, but anyway, there's a side story to why I picked that rapper. But picking
that's a little bit of inside baseball.
Yeah, but besides that, I agree that those parents knew what they were doing when they dropped their child off with him. And did they know they'd be cut off? No, they probably thought that they'd all come up together and ride the wave of success with their child. I think where it went south was they were like, I'm not riding any wave of success. My child doesn't seem to be on the come up. And now she cut me off and won't talk to me anymore. So this isn't cool anymore. It was cool when you thought y'all were all about to be put on.
I just thought that.
No, I thought that they all were going to put on.
Like, I want money.
Correct. And when that didn't trickle to them, it didn't work.
Stop and they're like, oh my God, they taking my daughter. We want
Correct. I think this was all about money and the come up. And they thought that this was a path to it and that they would never have to work again. And when that didn't quite work out.
Majorly sidetracked again.
Anyway, yes, we did.
Smollett. We're gonna wrap this up soon, guys. But in its totality, Jussie Smollett, I think we both agree that he did that shit.
And by did that, he faked this whole business. Like nobody believes he was actually legitimately attacked. Period.
I think that his celebrity status, like this, that's what I don't know. What I need to understand is, what did he offer up in order to get the district attorney to turn this around?
I just don't know that it was winnable. Like, without knowing all the evidence that the Chicago PD had, I just am not sure that you could say beyond a shadow of a doubt that he did it on purpose.
The rift that is now created between the Chicago PD and the district attorney's office, because they need each other. Because at the end of the day,
but they don't.
The only thing that I can think about is that Empire has a lot of power and money into the city of Chicago because it's filmed there. There's a lot of money there. So to me, there had to have been some sort of influence because again, I don't know what could have been said. All of that drama that was created for this to just go away like that.
It does seem a little sudden.
All the mad hours.
Yeah, it does seem very sudden, and it also, based on the reaction of the police chief, it seems to have caught them off guard.
Yeah, he said it. He said, we found out the same time you guys did.
Yeah, it seemed to have caught them off guard, and I feel like something must have happened, and either, like, honestly, the cost of
This is some Trump level shit, boy.
Right, I feel like the cost publicly and financially might have been more than it was worth. Like, I think they probably said, what we stand to lose by trying this is not worth it.
I think it wasn't worth trying because, again, I don't think you guys
had enough time.
And again, we didn't even talk about Ola and Lola about how
we don't know what their past is. We don't know what their past is and how credible they are.
Any sort of like shady past, I'm pretty sure Jesse's team was going to dig their ass into a new grave. Like, I don't think anybody would have been safe. Like, I think they would have poked holes in the whole...
And he had a really good attorney. He had Mark Garagos, who also got Chris Brown off. And you know, Chris Brown went through a dark time. And he got out with just community. Yeah, so he went through a dark time and really should still be in jail. But he had Mark Garagos.
Under the jail.
And he got off. So I think that Mark Garagos figured out a loophole, figured out some holes in the case that maybe things weren't done exactly right, or that these two witnesses who were the linchpin really for the whole thing, they might have had a shady past. They might not have been credible. And quite frankly, if you undermine the credibility of the two key people that could have pinned this on him, the whole case gets thrown away anyway. So I think that they probably did some due diligence and figured that out.
And again, you look at it like this. All of this drama over somebody who basically just lied. Like, they were trying to get...
Correct. I'm like, come on now.
Like, it was clear that you guys had a thing.
He made up a story and, he got caught up.
So even though I don't believe Jussie at all, doesn't mean that I agree with the way that they try to handle it and try to do him dirty either. Because at the end of the day, like, morally, I don't get along with him. I don't agree with what he did. Them trying to charge him 16 counts for lying, I'm like, y'all...
I do think that this was all about them proving a point. Because I do think that they were annoyed that he polarized the community for a little bit there, because they were like, the Chicago PD is trying to set him up, and they were like, no, don't try to put this on us. This man lied, and y'all trying to say that we're tainting the investigation, we're doing all this. So I think for them it was also about sending a message that you can't just make things
information
up.
Left and right.
Well, I think that they were also trying to influence the court of public opinion. Like, let's be honest. They were doing a classic politician move where you leak information to get the public to feel some kind of way. And it worked. It worked. And I think they were trying to make it real clear to him, whatever, if you think you're the smartest man in the room and you got this all figured out, nope, we got your number. We're not buying it. And quite frankly, I'm not a police officer or an investigator of any sort, and I did not buy it at first sniff. So if I'm a police officer who does this for a living, I'd have been like, this whole shit sound wrong. Like, all of it. Like, none of it would have made any sense.
It doesn't pass the smell test. And if you're a seasoned officer, you'd
have known right away. And dealing with celebrities is already different.
And I said this before too. I'm like, did he never watch the first 48? I'm just like,
I mean, there's just so much the IG channel something.
The Nigerian on camera buying a rape kit damn near. I'm like,
hot mess. You know you are hot mess.
They got the noose. Like, they use time and noose while they in front of the chair.
You a hot mess. You a hot mess.
So,
no, but it was just not well thought out. And if he'd have done better if he would have just legitimately had somebody punch him in the eye and then just said he blacked out and didn't remember the details. You don't get so specific when you're lying. Just say, I got knocked the hell out. I don't remember what happened. First I knew.
He had to hit the gay agenda, so that's why he said they call him faggot. And, I don't like to use that word, but that's what he said. And then he also tried to hit the race one, because, again, make America great. And then he tried to hit the other part with the noose. So he tried to hit all the different vectors, but then when you try to mix that together in a big pot, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. You put too much sauce on it, man. You should have left it at somebody whip my ass.
You should have.
And why'd you leave the noose on? Why'd you leave the noose on?
It was evidence, Jason. He still had a Subway sandwich.
You could have put it in.
I heard he had a sandwich sitting there too.
That's what I want to know, Jussie. If you watching this, what kind of Subway sandwich did you get at 2:00 in the morning? Was it the foot-long meatball marinara? Was it the grilled chicken teriyaki?
Would you do this again?
Did it reheat well?
Because you ain't got no food in your fridge, nothing.
Well, he rich. He's probably at a hotel or something.
I know, but isn't there like that carry-out service that you could call?
He rich. He don't
Postmates or whatever. I'm like, call Postmates. Like, if I'm rich, I go to at 2 in the morning. I'm gonna call Postmates. That's the other issue. Call somebody. You ain't got an assistant. Call somebody.
Look, nobody want to walk around with an assistant. You want to go out at 2:00 in the morning.
Who wants to go out at 2 in the morning in sub-zero weather? I've eaten at Subway. Not worth it. Nope. I'm calling Postmates.
What about their pizza? Their pizza might be worth it.
Not at 2 in the morning in sub-zero temperatures. That's the problem. If this was a nice summer evening, you might have had me. But that temperature, nobody want to be outside. Nobody. So you can't tell me that you hungry. I'd have stuck a foot out that door and be like, nope, not happening. I ain't that hungry. I got to figure out what's in the fridge.
I went to the vending machine and I'm going to go to sleep.
Or I'd have paid somebody and be like, I'll get you a signed photo if you could bring me this sandwich.
Well, the story is currently developing. So right now, like I said, he's free. It does look like he paid off somebody. Like,
I don't know if he paid off somebody. He ain't got money that
somebody,
deep, though.
somebody got.
He ain't got like USC.
Maybe it was some
money.
sexual favors passed around or something.
I think you're right on the whole Empire filming in Chicago, and there's probably some pull to this is all making us look bad. Get it, clean it up. I do think that there was probably some pull.
Do you think he'll be back for the next season of Empire?
I don't know that there'll be a next season of Empire. The whole shit looked like it's sinking, quite frankly.
Yeah, I heard even with all this drama that it was like the least watched
people
episode
are done.
of season
Yeah,
finale.
I think their ratings have dropped significantly. I think if they want their ratings to go up, they could probably bring him back for a hot minute because people just kind of want to see if he looked like he lying. I mean, people nosy as hell. I would watch the episode. I ain't watched that shit in years just to be like, can I see if he's really lying in this episode?
Look through the episode.
Let me see if I can see into his soul.
You know what would be gangster is if they just go ahead and say fuck it and just create that storyline and just be like,
you know, like Law and Order SVU used to do that shit, rip shit right out the headlines. Yes.
Did they have like
get your ratings up? Yes, they would literally. You'd watch a Law and Order SVU and you'd be like, I swear I saw that somewhere. Oh, that was on the news last week. They always ripped it right out of the news.
His name was like Jason Red or some shit.
Have one of the Lyons brothers fake beat up so that they could get a record deal or get. Oh man.
And Cookie can just come in and be like, don't you be doing that to my baby. He ain't telling the truth.
He didn't lie. Oh, come on. You want to turn this around and get some views? I mean, you got one hit. It's not going to last, but at least it'll give you. No, you can't. Well, what's low anymore if he's going to sit here talking about two people beat him up and put a noose around his neck? And the bleach, too? Like, dude, it was too much.
You know how Robert Downey Jr., when he did
and then you had his chemists,
was like, you can't go full retard. He went full retard. Like, you don't go.
Well, now you had these social media chemists. Like, the freeze point for bleach is. They were trying to reenact and be like, it couldn't happen because he would have had icicles and it would have frozen before it touched. And I'm like, okay, super sleuths, relax. Like, relax.
That's when you go get a job. If you got that much
time, get a job if you're trying to figure out the chemical composition of bleach. And
if you sitting there doing experiments like taking glasses of bleach and tossing it in the air, seeing if it freezes sub-zero temperatures, I'm gonna need you to chill out.
I need you to relax. It's okay that you don't believe him. None of us did, but we ain't need to do all that.
Fucking Twitter.
I'm telling you, the internet. There's no chill.
Look, the internet will always remain undefeated.
Well, and I feel like if you are out there and you feel like somebody in your life is lying to you, put that shit out on the internet. Somebody will figure it out. If you have any unsolved mystery, put it out on the internet. People will figure that shit out for you for free.
That's true. That's true. All right, guys, we're getting ready to wrap this up. This was a long episode, but I'm glad we did it. Let me know what you guys think. Comment in the section below. Do you like this segment? Do you want to see us do more stuff like that? Do trailer reviews? Talk about movie reviews?
What did we just see?
We saw Us. We did like a date night, and we went to go see Us, and we both enjoyed it. So maybe if you guys want to see us do a review / discussion on what we thought about Us, let us know in the comment section below. And again, if you listen to the audio, make sure that you subscribe to the Magner Podcast RSS feed. You can find us on all platforms. And again, this was Sean the King, and this is
the wife of Shonuff the King. That's really unique, right?